Well, hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam, thanks for hanging out with me again today. Today we're going to be taking a look at this iMars D300 Plus charger from Genzace. It's a really nice little compact charger. I think you guys may like it. So let's see what's not in the box anymore. So in the box, you get your instruction manual. And I do suggest you read through this because it goes over the process and steps of selecting everything, changing parameters, all that stuff. And then, of course, the meat and potatoes of it is your charger. So you have the balance ports on the face of the charger, as well as XT60 connections. On the top, you have your 4-button controls, LCD screen, which is a color LCD screen. On the side, you have your AC input, and you have your USB connection. Now, this is used for both being able to charge a device like a cell phone or a battery bank, or something like your pit fan, your air blower, anything USB. You can power it off of this, but it is also data port, so when you can update the firmware on this. On the back is an XT60 connection to where you can use a higher capacity battery to charge a lower capacity battery. So say if you were running a 4S truck, your truck broke and you still got 90% of the power in your 4S battery, you can actually plug your 4S battery into this, power the station, and charge say a 2S battery with it. So you can take something else out and you're not wasting electricity. You're not having to discharge the 4-cell for no reason and then charge up a 2-cell. You can kind of do two things at one time with it. I like the design of it. It is a blow-through design. So on this side you have the air intake, and on this side you have the air exhaust with the fan blowing out. That way it's directly going across everything on the board, keeping everything as cool as possible. You get your AC connector, depends on your country or what connector you get. You do get a USB-A to USB-A adapter to where you can plug this into your computer, plug your charger in, and then of course you can plug your USB-A to micro USB-C, whatever you want to do with charging your device. And then you get a handful of pigtails. You get two. They all have the XT60 port plugs you can plug into the ports on the front. You get two DINs, two EC3, and two EC5s. The EC3s and EC5s are compatible with the IC connectors. It's just the smart pin is just going to go in between the posts. I do it all the time. So that is basically what you get in the box. So let me plug this guy up and I will switch over to the overhead and show you guys the menu, and we'll get a battery on charge. Okay, when you plug it up, it's automatically going to turn itself on and be ready to go. You have channel A, channel B, and on the front it's clearly marked this side's channel A, this side's channel B. So to plug your battery in, you just stick your XT60 in there, and then your balance port, and then now we have 11.3 volts in this little Ovonic battery. Once you're there, you can go to your channel and back button and select which channel. It's automatically going to go to channel A first, and then we can go over to your settings. So we can select what task we want. Right now we're on charge, we're on LIPO. The target voltage for cutoff is 4.2 volts. We currently have a 3-cell connected, and it's designated automatically as a 2 amp voltage. So we can go in and we can change this to a 2.2 amp because we have a 2200 cell battery. Hit back. Oops. Now we have the 2.2 set. You can go in and change your target voltage. Now this does lithium high voltage, LiPo, lithium ion, LIFE batteries, as well as nickel metal hydride. So we can basically go up here and you can see high voltage, LiPo, lithium ion, LIFE, and NIM. Now, like I said, you can change the target voltage. All of the battery types, you can change your cutoff voltage for charge and discharge. They are set to the standardized universal amounts in by default. But if you are savvy enough and you want to slightly undercharge your batteries for some reason or slightly overcharge your batteries for some reason, you can. Now this will charge 16 amps per channel. And if you're doing a big battery that you need the extra amperage, you can do what they call sync charging, which is basically you have both channel A and channel B routed into one charge cable. So basically it's a 2-into-1 charge cable, and then your balance goes in and you can charge up to 23 amps. I think for the vast majority of us, 16 is going to be more than sufficient than anybody's going to need. Now this is also compatible with the GenZA smart batteries, so you'll see this extra little pin over here. This goes onto the little connector. It's not a pin, it's just like a little pad on the balance port of a GenZA smart battery. So you would have your 1 through 6 on the balance port, and then there's a extra pin there for the smart technology. I don't have any of the GenZA smart batteries, so I can't display that one, but it is compatible with their batteries. Now, Spectrum smart batteries, completely different, and you're stuck with Spectrum chargers on that, so, you know, that is what it is. So we have our our battery type, 4.2, 3S, 2.2, so we're just going to go down to Start Task, and it's going to go ahead and start up the charge. And you see it's ramping up the amperage, and it's going to charge the battery. So we're charging. Now we can go back, and now we can see channel A is charging, channel B is doing nothing. So we can actually go channel A, channel B, and then we can enter what we want to do there. Say I wanted to do a nickel metal hydride for one of my Tamiya cars. Plug the supplied pigtail in there. Plug it in, and now I would say I want to charge. I want to go here, change it to nickel metal hydride. The cell detection is pretty much automatic on these. It'll recognize basically off the balance port, and it always auto detects what your cell count is. So there's no changing that. And then the current charge is 2 amps, so we're going to bump that up to 3.6. And then come down here, Start Task. And channel B is now charging. And if we want to, we can say stop charging on that. We can adjust the current on the fly. If you give it a second, it goes back to the main channel. Hit your channel back, and now we can see the LiPo is still charging. The nickel metal hydride is charging. So say I want to stop my charge on my LiPo. Be like, okay, I decided I'm not going to run that. We're just going to go in. So we're going to select the channel. Oops, sorry, missed it. Channel A. And now we have a stop option. I just hit to enter in there. And now channel A is no longer charging. We have channel B, nickel metal hydride charging. Channel A is idle. Channel B is now charging. A very, very simple, easy to follow charge system to get your batteries charged up. A very, very small form factor. I think this is going to be a great charger for anybody that is just running around, bashing around, or just taking something small to the races with you to charge up a few battery packs. Now obviously if you're going to be racing for a full day's worth of racing, you're probably going to end up buying more than a two-channel charger, but again, super compact. You know, this, your power cord, and then you can get the external balance port adapters to be able to give you the length. So between a pigtail and the balance port extension, you can now easily put this in a bat safe, your LiPo charge bags, which I suggest you charge anything in a LiPo charge bag. All races are going to require them, and it's just good practice. I just did this loosely for demonstration purposes, but you know, be safe, don't burn your house down kind of thing. Now, that said, don't go out and buy balance leads that are, you know, 2 for $3. Buy a reasonably priced, reputable brand. balance lead. You know, there's no point in trying to charge an $80 battery with a $2 balance lead that may end up going up in smoke, causing, you know, bad things to happen. The charger does not come with a balance lead extension, so that is something you're going to have to source if you want to get one. Not required, but it does make it easier. That way your battery is not, you know, slammed up against the charger and making it difficult to get your other battery in. So one other feature that I really like about this, and we haven't talked about yet, is the Bluetooth connectivity. So on your phone, you can download the GenZace app, and it will pull up the, once you have the charger powered on, it will pull up your charger. And then from your phone, you can select, so we are currently on channel A, you can move over to channel B. Channel A, you can select your charge type. So let's say we want to do a discharge. You confirm that, what type your battery is, cutoff voltage, your amperage. The max amperage you can do on discharge is 3 amps. You can select your cell count. So if we were discharging that battery, it'd be a 3S. And then you can start it from the phone. Now, I don't recommend you guys leave a LiPo unattended while charging. But if you do have to leave the room for 5 or 10 minutes, you can pull up the app and see exactly what the battery's doing. You can see if all of a sudden the voltage is going off the chart or a cell's crashing, something like that. It'll give you some peace of mind if you've got to go out and flip the hamburgers on the grill to come back to, you know, your garage not being on fire. Again, I would not leave it unsupervised, but you can see everything real time, what is going on with your charger. So the other great advantage of it is if I have to run upstairs to use the restroom, or like I said, flip the hamburgers on the grill, something, and then my wife says, hey, I need you to go do this right now. Can you do this for me? You know, I can actually just stop the charge while I'm on here because it's okay. I've got to run out to the store and get hamburger buns because we forgot to get the hamburgers and the burgers are cooking. Whatever it is, you know, if you're going to be distracted from this, not being able to be here while it's going on, you know, you can control it from the app. I don't have to run all the way back down here. I can hit stop on the app and cut the charger off, make sure nothing is currently charging, leave, go get my hamburger buns. When I come back, I can come back down here and start the charger up, or, you know, I can start it from upstairs, be able to do what I want to. Now, I did have an issue, and I want to address it, and I don't knock the charger for it. I think this was just a glitch that was just a one-off thing that happened to me. But when you hook it to your phone, it's going to want to do a firmware update because these are shipped, you know, 3 months ago, 6 months ago. You know, it has to leave country of origin, get to where it's going to go, be distributed. You know, it takes a while to get something like this in your hands. So the firmware on here isn't the most up-to-date firmware. So when you hook it to your phone, it says, hey, there's a new firmware. Would you like to upgrade? So I did ignore it the first couple times. And, you know, it was down here playing with the charger, playing with the phone app and everything just to understand it. And I was like, okay, screw it. I don't want that thing popping up while we're doing a video. Let me go ahead and update the firmware. So I started it from my phone and everything was going well. It, you know, recognized the charger, everything was connected. It started the install. And at some point during the install, everything went black and this was completely unresponsive. Something in the firmware between the phone and here over Bluetooth lost signal, something happened, and the update failed. So I was left with a brick charger. The buttons didn't work, the screen didn't work. It would pull up on the phone app and I could see the functionality of the charger. I didn't trust it because something was not right. So I contacted the vendor and worked with them, and they walked me through everything. We went through the basic steps of what's in the book. They recommend you use the USB connection, hook it to your computer. That way you have a hard link to everything here. So when this thing disconnects, it doesn't have to try to find the app. You know, it's just a safer way of doing it. I was lazy. It was saying I could do it right here on the phone. I went that way. Things went sideways. So I tried hooking up the computer because this thing was, you know, partially AWOL, it would not do the standard update from the computer. So working with them, and they sent me some more in-depth instructions and, you know, a link to the download of the firmware directly from the site, all that stuff. Very, 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 very helpful and very, very quick to respond. And after a couple tries, it was resuscitated, the firmware was updated, and everything is hunky-dory now. So did want to let you know, I would not probably do it from the phone, just because there is the added risk of something interfering with that update process. It's best to update the firmware directly through the computer, and the instructions in the manual go through that step by step. It's very easy to do. Basically, you download the package, start it, and, you know, while you have this connected, it finds the charger, it does all its magic, and then boom, you're good to go. So I did want to address that, not to, you know, scare anybody off, but to say, hey, maybe not do it the way I did it, and just do it the way they recommend in the book, with doing it through the computer, and everything is fine. You can use it and never update the firmware. They just update the firmware to keep up with their battery technology and battery technology as a whole. So, you know, it's not a bad idea to update it, but you could open it out of the box, never hook it to the phone, never update your firmware, and charge all the batteries that you typically have now. Is that if you're using the Gen Z smart batteries, I would say go ahead and do the updates to that. But if you're just using, you know, off-the-shelf LiPo, nickel metal hydride, whatever, you probably don't even have to worry about it. You know, updating firmware is always great, but if you're never hooking this to a computer and it's charging just fine, I'd leave it. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry no run footage after this one. Just a quick overview of the charger itself and how it works. I have charged up batteries with it. It works fine. There's no, you know, gotchas. It's very quiet while it's running. Now, if you do put a bigger battery on here, say a 4S, 4S, 6S, something like that, the fan is going to kick on much more often, because you are trying to push a whole lot more power than you are into a little tiny 3-cell or 2-cell battery. So, you know, the fan does kick on when it's needed. Now, when it goes on discharge, the fan's going to pretty much be on all the time, keeping everything cool, because you're taking the power out of the battery, burning it up into heat inside of the charger, and it's got to get rid of that heat. But overall, I love the size of it. This thing is, you know, a third the size of my current charger. So a very, very small footprint, and this is something easy to chuck into a bag and take with you. Anyway, guys, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And if you guys want to know any more information about this, I will leave links in the description to where you can go to their site and see all the technical details, you know, all the parameters, all the stuff that you can change that, you know, I wasn't going to go into an hour-long video to explain. It's all in the manual, and, you know, go through here, you can see everything black and white. Anyway, guys, everybody out there, as always, be happy, be healthy, be safe, and thanks so much for you guys sending this over. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the review. See you.